All right. Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa is also expected to deliver closing remarks of the NEC special meeting at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Let's now bring in political analyst Mr. Bongani Mahlangu to weigh in on the ANC NEC meeting sitting at the Birchwood Hotel this weekend. Bongani, great having you with us as always. Good afternoon. So the special ANC NEC convening since Friday. Let's first look at some of what they've actually updated us in terms of what's on the agenda. The high cost of living, high electricity as well as fuel prices, unemployment, land reform, food security, as well as party renewal. Just some that we have seen some briefings on so far. Does the party actually have any long-term as well as effective solutions to all these above-mentioned challenges, especially now that they are not even the majority in government, you think?
Greetings to you in studio. Also greetings to the viewers at home. So in terms of them getting solutions, we'll start with the medium-term development plan that has been approved. So if you look at the three objectives of the medium-term development plan, it speaks to economic and social improvements, I would put it that way, reflecting on issues such as the high cost of living. So what then must happen is that now, since provinces and departments, national departments are busy with their annual performance plans and also busy with their strategic plans, they must incorporate those into those plans. And then also for that medium-term development plan it's a cut and paste from the ANC manifesto. If you had to read the pillars of the ANC manifesto and read the medium-term development plan, they would read almost the same. So that is a strategic intervention they are making. But remember, at the end of the day, something must happen, people must implement, and you can have these plans, policies, strategies, and whatnot. But if you don't have the right people in positions to make implementation of them, nothing will happen. And then also we look at what they are not doing. So when we look at the high cost of living, for instance, you find that the budget of the state mainly goes towards consumption expenditure, transfer payments. So the state does not have adequate resources to put in investment expenditure, such as gross capital formation, that is infrastructure. And you would know that most of our infrastructure has reached its design life. Our economic infrastructure is dilapidating, it's being destroyed. So you find that in the South African Reserve Bank Act, Section 10, I think 10F, it allows the bank to give loans to the state, zero interest, loans that must be used to the improvement of the economic conditions of the state. That has never happened. And this government and the government before had the powers to make interventions there. When you also look into the bank focuses mostly on inflation targeting 3 to 6%. It's least concerned about full employment. Hence, they are aggressive. Inflation or aggressive interest rate hikes over the years has done nothing to improve the manufacturing capacity of this country, ensuring that there is proper supply, which is the main reason why inflation has been going up, which ultimately would lead to the creation of jobs and the ease in terms of the cost of living for the majority of South Africans. We are seeing improvements, yes, in electricity, but we are seeing little improvements, we are seeing little improvements as far as water provision is concerned. In fact, water provision is getting worse by the day. So electricity is improving, water provision is worsening. And also water is important in a case and context of input in production, same as electricity. So meaning water has inflationary aspects or elements that will make it very difficult again to improve the cost of living. So what I'm basically trying to say is that as so much as certain things are being done in one hand, things are also being ignored in the other hand, and which leaves us in the very same position.
Bongani, today, look, they're also remembering their longest-serving president and stalwart, Oliver Reginald Tambo, and an interesting juxtaposition to this is the fact that the party is currently losing prominent leaders as well as members who have been at the forefront of the organization, citing very similar reasons of the party being a figment of its original core ethics as well as values. Former President Zuma was very adamant that the other day that during his press briefing that more ANC members are still going to resign and join the MK. Is this an organization that is internally fractured? Can it self-resurrect?
Starting from respecting and honoring Oliver Tambo, that has been done for so many years. I remember even when I was in primary high school, I was part of those children there as a guard of honor. So that's nothing new, and they'll continue doing it. But in terms of ensuring that the renewal projects actually takes place, that's something that is yet to be tested. It has not been happening. In fact, it has been worsening. We are going to 2026 local government elections. If you look into the structures of the ANC at branch and regional level across the country, they are mainly dysfunctional, as we would know that they are only activated when it's time for electing either branch leaders, regional leaders, provincial and national leaders, or when it's time to get on lists, be it the local list to the council or a municipality, or maybe province to province, national to national, regional to national. So a lot of things have not been done. This has become rhetoric. And it is the very same reason why they are losing legitimacy on the ground, because people are voting with their feet. They are also forgetting that you have a crop of, you have a significant portion of the population that does not resonate with the political, historic past or achievements of the ANC for fighting for liberation. That those are the young people, or so-called the millennials, AMA 2K. So what they are looking at now is, are they able to enter the labor market? They are not. Graduate unemployment is increasing. So they've went to school, free education through NSFAS, but now they're unable to enter the labor market. So they're either unemployed or underemployed. So serious introspection needs to take place in the ANC, but I am not confident that the current crop of leaders has the capacity to do that. For instance, the ANC lost about 17% in the elections, but its COO and CEO are still in their position. The president and the SG are still in the position.
Bongani, sorry to interject, just in the interest of time. I mean, looking just exactly at your point there in terms of leadership, the internal challenges are not the end of their troubles, right? The recent attacks by their principal GNU partner over the president's comments on foreign policy and Russia at the recent BRICS summit, clearly showing there are gremlins within the arrangement, of which this was not the first threats to the stability now of the GNU. There is a current push against the current relationships of the GPU in Tshwane and the COJ that has shown just how deep these lines are actually divided.
You see, starting from the big one, which is the latest statements made by Mr. Steenhuisen, he has every right to say that as a leader of the DA. But if he really was disturbed by that, he would raise it in cabinet, because that's where it would count the most. So now it's just an organization venting its interest, but they're not going to walk away. Because remember, once they walk away, the EFF and MK will come in, and that's what they don't want. And it's also important to educate even the DA as a member of the GNU, that they have not pushed for the reconfiguration of South Africans' foreign policy. And equally, they must also educate themselves, especially on the Russia issue. You know, their biggest issue is that Russia invaded Ukraine. What they do not know is that this comes from the decision to expand NATO. And the decision to expand NATO was pushed in 1998 by Senator Joe Biden, who is now the president of the USA. Hence, the aggressive push for Ukraine to do what it's doing and the support that it's providing. The DA is totally ignorant about that red line, totally ignorant about the 1960 red line that the Soviet Union or Russia must not store arms in the Western Hemisphere. So if they are really aggrieved, they will raise that in the next cabinet meeting. They'll put it there as an agenda item and raise it there aggressively.
Bongani, as always, great having you with us on the show. Political analyst there, Bongani Mahlangu, on the ANC NEC that is currently taking place this weekend out in Boksburg.